All right. Shalom, Yashala. Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. Waharakakodash Brakathum. I like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akian pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aquatata. Listening, what I like to get into is just the whole entitlement aspect. I believe I just did a lesson a few days ago on that. And what it's really come down to, man, it's just a strong level of embarrassment, bro, that you see from these videos. And what I mean is like how a lot of Jake and granted, Israelites aren't the only, people who do this. Of course you have that whole entitlement. That entitlement aspect of life is very infectious. So it's just not Jake, but I'm seeing Jake taking a great deal of the victimhood and the victim mentality to new heights. It's like unnecessary. Like, bro, stop. We in captivity because we was hard headed as hell, and it's still showing today. Okay. Am I perfect? Hell no. Are the apostles, bishops, and elders perfect? No. But hey, brothers are conveying to be somewhat close to it. Just be a better person. Okay. And it's not being a sellout or a coon or trying to align with white supremacist views, because Jake likes to throw that at you when you have some type of decorum and some level of decency. Nah, man. It's more so, man, sit your ass down, okay, and have a level of awareness. In other words, being circumspect, reading the room, just knowing what the hell's going on and how to conduct yourself. Okay, it's very simple. But then too, we are in a spiritual war, man. We're definitely in a spiritual war, man. Jake can't see themselves succumbing to being in order. So guess what? Any and every demon that's available, hey, they gonna cling on to you, man. Okay. But what demons are also what? Trying to put their fangs and finger demons are trying to do any and everything they can, man. Especially to bring, us down through the spirit, you know. Cause hey, look, I still got things I need to work on as a man, you know. But the way that Jake, conducts themselves just like on a, you know, just a childish level of like, oh, but like, bro, you caused all the drama and then expect some type of empathy, man. And it's just very mind blowing, that Jake has reduced themselves to such that. But hey, it was written, man. Okay, it was written. Okay, Jake is what is known as a rebellious people, man. This is a rebellious house, man. Okay, matter of fact, let me see. Bear me, Baba Kushab. Yeah, I might as well. This is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me. Okay, Jake doesn't take counsel of the Most High. Jake fans their hands and, like, man, ain't nobody trying to hear that Bible. I'm like, okay, bet. And that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. And Jake has no issue with digging themselves in a hole, man. It's just much easier when you really when you're really trying to prove how much you're a victim. It only proves that you're the common denominator of your issues of your life. You the problem. Now, granted, Esau, the so-called white man, is the goddamn devil. Okay, this system is totally jacked up. But the scriptures lets us know that. So we already ahead of the curve, man. We already know that, but Jake tries so hard to prove, see, I'm a victim. I'm a victim to, like, nah, nigga, you the problem. Okay? Bear me, Baba Kushah. This is verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. See, Jake will do all this BS and then get pandered to by people who have no spiritual morality or trying to get close to Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Jake talk all that, Jesus talk, but man, Jake be out of there, bro. Jake is cooked, man. Okay, Jake is cooked. That's why, back in verse 1, that's why I say it's woe to the rebellious children. Destruction to you niggas, man. There's countless videos, and like we always go into examples, bro. It'd be cops that roll up on the scene, be pretty agreeable, and we know that's not always the case, with particular law enforcement, but particular stuff that I do see, just some interactions be hella off, bro. They be, hey, okay, what's going on, bro? And and especially in the times that we're in today, a lot of these cops just be trying to get home back safe, bro, just to keep it a buck. And I can attest to that just off the strength when I was, young and had knucklehead tendencies. It was an Edomite cop. And he just pointed it out to me. He was like, bro, I'm trying to go home. I'm pretty sure you're trying to go home. They said no reports need to be written. Nobody needs to go to jail. Can we all agree on that, gentlemen? His partner was on the other side. Didn't see no hand on the gun. But, his hand could have been close, hey, you never know what people got going on, man. You never know what Jake got going on, Edomites, in any of these heathens. Just in general, these people, man. You never know what people got going on. But guess what? I took heed. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, I wasn't even in the truth, bro. I really didn't get introduced unto the truth until like more so like late 07, I shall say. I say 07, 08 is when I got introduced. So call halal Yahweh Shem Yahshua for that. But I wasn't even in the truth yet, man. And I adhered to what he was saying, and he was like, look, man, I'm trying to go home. Y'all trying to go home, right? We were like, yes, officer. All right, man, let's do just that. Man, said our goodbyes, thank you. He said, hey, no problem, man. You guys get home safe and, stay out of trouble. Bet. But now, in today's time, Jake acts like fucking children, man. Okay, so that's why that's not going to be tolerated, of course, in its truth. Okay, the apostles, bishops, and elders weren't designed to hold your hand. Were they designed to be an example? Of course. Are they here to teach and guide you? Of course. Are they here to build you up? Of course. But to hold your hand and micromanage, nah, bro. We have to believe and trust that each brother who's in this truth, man, is utilizing, first and foremost, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay? And just being a decent human being, man. Because once again, this lesson is prompted by Jake's behavior that I seen from videos on YouTube, man. And actual stuff I've experienced as of late from a few years back. Having issues with another Jake, cops roll up. Everything cool and subtle. And here it is. Niggas is just, we shocked. The cops are shocked. Like, bro, the cops is cool. They just making sure, hey, ain't no bloodbath. There ain't no bad blood. But nah, man, and now Jake has gotten so bad. It's just like Jake looks for shit. I'm not one for the nitpicking and petty shit. Because it really leads to huge issues. And now the huge issue is a lot of Jake is going to be judged, man. Just straight up. Just being very boisterous about how defiant you are. Like, it's not a good look. Okay, verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. That's why Jake will sit here and go back and forth with a cop for like 15 minutes where they giving you an opportunity to just leave. Like, look, We ain't judging you. We ain't even looking down on you. Just so the air is clear, the tension is clear. Let's just everybody go their own ways. And Jake talks himself into judgment. Jake will sit there and literally get themselves arrested, not even for what they were called for. A lot of cops be like, all right, man, what we got going on, you know? And that's really even the austere cops. A lot of austere cops will come and set the tone. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? They ain't come to play. They ain't come to be cute. You know, here it is, somebody getting the hell beat out of them, or getting their throat slit, and they got to deal with a combative nigga because they don't know when to stop. And that's just the makeup of Babylon now, man. You don't agree, or you don't cater, or you don't fold to entitlement or this BS soft ass system that has become a very hella embarrassing representation of just of a society, bro. It's just very embarrassing, bro. Like, god damn, like the childishness, man, of this place. But guess what? It's being championed in Babylon, though. You know, because this is Esau's Frankenstein as well. You know, for it to eat to you've put this BS system in place, and now it's falling apart. And call halal Yahbashim Yashar for that, man. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And just coming into adulthood and just growing up, especially being introduced to this truth, being called to do the work, like, bro, you got to grow the hell up. Point blank, period, man. You have to grow the hell up. You know? Like that infamous song from Nas, a dope song, called Second Childhood, I believe. You know, and but that's, once again, that's the makeup of this society, Babylon the Great, aka America, man. Everybody's in this infant mindset, man. Very childish. Like, bro, grow the hell up. You know, this place is just ass backwards. But guess what? This place has also promoted a backwards mentality. We all understand the sky's blue, but y'all been letting people just run around here now and the sky is really pink when you think about it, and just like, bro, people, that's the stuff of a child, because a child has no understanding. So therefore, a lot of these grown ass people don't have understanding, is what we've come to realize. Like, bro, you can't sit here and rob hella people or hurt people and don't expect no consequences. Because Jake has very much so utilized that. And that's why the scriptures say, learn. Matter of fact, I'll get that. Bear me bubble kushap. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Okay? And that's what Jake has done. Because a lot of Jake now is doing like the so-called Karen activity, starting shit and then crying victim. Like, that's not, like, a lot of Jake is going to find out the hard way. But call halal Yahabashim Yashah for that, man. And Jake is just just be eating it up in the society. Oh, you could do whatever you like. You could do whatever you like. No, the hell you cannot, man. Now, granted, Babylon, you can do as much wickedness as you like, but don't think it's not going to catch up with you. There has to be a time, you just gotta sit your ass down and just stop. Once again, I'm gonna keep mentioning it. Being a decent human being doesn't cost you anything, bro. I'm not saying you gotta be over friendly, over sharing, over compensating for something. Just being a decent person, man. But being a decent person is gonna have to require you to grow the hell up. Hey, and the funny thing. This is the spirit. I wasn't even intending on getting this scripture. This is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 3. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. Okay? It is an honor for a man to cease from strife. Like all the chaos, bro. Nah, bro. All the chaos and the BS, people can have that. Because what that's going to show is just, hey, man, that's like that chaotic mindset, always getting into shit. Because what kids are the ones who usually, when they're small, they, hard to, and that's why a lot of times, that's why we refer to these Edomites in elite places of power, who hold places of power. They're like children in a sense because they can't keep still. Okay. And it really goes hand in hand. They can't sit still to set up snares for Jake, and Jake can't sit still long enough to acknowledge, like, hey, these snares really won't be an issue if I sit my ass down and grow the hell up. But it really goes hand in hand. People can say whatever they want. Like, look, bro, we in captivity, and we understand that. But therefore, there shouldn't be a reason for you to give them any more ammo. Like, bro, they can build as many prisons as they like, but Abaratazad, Qadar won't be in there, along with the apostles, bishops, and elders. Abaratazad, no, that's none of the brothers' fate. Especially outside of this ministry. We're here to preach because we're ordained to preach, man. All that foolishness, all that childish, and that foolish behavior, man, that's just for the birds. Okay, this is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Okay, and guess what? That goes for young men and young women who were once children and have now, so when you raise your children with the mindset of, hey, nothing in this world is free. Okay, don't nobody owe you nothing, and if first and foremost, if you're an Israelite, you're definitely gonna, teach them about Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, But I'm just saying, just for the common person who's not in the faith, I'm just making, these examples. But usually, those are examples I do remember coming up. Bro, don't nobody owe you nothing. Okay? Life ain't fair. But what you do, hey, you build yourself up. Now, we understand here in this truth, we build one another up, and then set aside from that, we build ourselves up. By you building yourself up, you're going to understand. Like, bro, why would it be such a smart move to with people who are given who are given an immunity if something goes wrong and you actually are deceased, you're offed or whatever. Why would you give them more ammo to act a fool? Like, bro, it's 9 times out of 10, bro. In this society, law enforcement is going to be correct. Okay, that's why in Romans 13 the Lord set them up purposely for that, so Jake would stay in line. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, Abaratazah don't get into anything. But hey, I ain't got to worry about no warrants. I ain't got to worry about robberies and so forth, because I ain't out there committing no atrocities, man. I ain't acting a goddamn fool. I'm leaving people the hell alone to the best of my ability, man. You know, I'm make sure I deal decently with people. You know, all situations aren't always favorable. Yes, I could have gone a lot of different ways about it, but hey, I'm here now doing a lesson, and Abaratazar, Lord, wake me up tomorrow to do another lesson, right? And it's just more so on part of like that. That's a big representation of like, well, that starts in the home. You know, now granted, your parents really can't be. Now, if your parents taught you all the things that like the basics in life and the boundaries of respect and receiving respect and giving respect and so forth, hey, the parents did their job, bro. You the one who didn't keep the end of the bargain, bro. Your parents did your job, but if your parents are teaching you some BS, can't nobody tell my baby nothing. Oh, you're doomed. You were doomed from the womb. You were doomed from the womb if can't nobody tell your child nothing, man. And guess what? Coming up, we were able to be told something. Okay? We were able to be, hey, young man, don't do that. That's not smart. Or hey, where your mother at? Where your father at? You know, you do that now, it's damn near considered abuse, or why you all up in my business, leave my baby alone. So, you know, so that's why we're seeing the results we're seeing on these cameras from law enforcement, you know, when those playback cameras. That's why we're seeing these interactions like, bro, the cops was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? And then once again, you're going to have your instances where some law enforcement are assholes. Like, bro, it's either wasn't your day, you need better training, or, you know, or this ain't the job for you. But even through all that, when they show up as like, when an officer does show up as an asshole, I'm like, you know, I comply. Hey, here's my license, here's my registration. You know, what else you need, officer? All they can do is run my ID and tell me, hey, you're free to go, sir. That's all they can do. You're free to go, sir. Because we ain't out here doing no bullshit. And Albaratazad stays that way from the apostles, bishops, and elders on down. I'm going to get one more scripture, and then I believe the point's been made. Bury me, Baba Kusha. This is 21. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 21, verse 7. An eloquent man is known far and near, but a man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth. Okay? So, a man of understanding. See, when some people get themselves in such a deep hole, it's like, bro, ain't no coming back from that. It's like me just getting up right down, just doing something atrocious, and like, bro, you can't continuously dig yourself holes, man. I'll reread verse 7 again. An eloquent man is known far and near. Yeah, that's gonna be a common thing, right? That's gonna be common. But a man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth. Okay, so you're really watching your steps. I watch how I interact with women. I watch how I interact with men. I watch how I interact with children. You know, it's just the thing, man. It's like you just really got to be aware. You know, you are only as good as you represent yourself to be. Can't stress that enough. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua can't stress that enough. The apostles, bishops, and elders were set up to lead men, to rule their spirits the correct way, how Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, how Yahweh Bashim Yahshua designed it to be, bro. Once again, my interactions with women to men to children ratio, bro. You know, and all across the board, what? With those interactions, I make sure it's a kind, pleasant interaction, man. You know, and I'm not here to be, try to be a man of a man, with the reputation, But also, you know, I'm not out here to be an asshole to people either. You know, just be a decent person, man. You know, I just, you know, I attempt and I convey to be a decent person across the board. But in today's time, that entitlement has taken, you know, made people's brain into mush, man. Like at any given moment, it's a-okay for you just to spaz out and crash out. And then after it's all said and done, the smoke has settled, you're the victim. No, it don't work like that. You know? But that's my spill on this. And Abaratazah, this is edifying for the body. So with that, once again, call halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Wahara Brakatham. Once again, I like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Achaeon pushing this truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Achaeon. Once again, you know, pushing this truth. You know, we're in trouble. We're in where we have a tough road ahead of us, Achaeon, but you know, the Lord gonna see his men through, you know. But that's all on that. Oh, and also salutations to the select number of Aquat out there listening. Shalom.